Sarvetra Sukhina Santu Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhattani Pasyantu Ma Kaschit Dukhamapyuna. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Gunatu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvina Vaditamastu Ma Vitvesha Vahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Oh, you may like to turn on your video because I was thinking of having a conversation, or if any question. If not, I will proceed on my own. So be brief, and whatever question you have, I don't think I will be in a position to answer, put out the question to Swamiji, but I may try. Any one of you, be brief and be quick. All right, looks like nobody has it. Okay. In a situation like this, I wanted to share one of the Vedantic story, which I just happened to read, and whatever I remember, and that is a dialogue between father and son. Son is what has been well known as Bhrigu Rishi, and his father, Varuna. So, as is a common question to all of us, and he said that, Father, I have heard a lot about Brahman, the ultimate reality. Can you please explain to me as to what is Brahman? And despite the fact we all are learning this, but that being the subject matter, even word matter doesn't belong there, but it being the subject, it is so difficult to understand, comprehend the word like Brahman, Virat, the Hiranyagarbha, Ishvara, Jiva, Atma, Paramatma. Those words remain words, but then what is it? So Bhrigu was asking his father. And his father said that you go and meditate enough. So he goes for the meditation. And after some time, when in jungle or in Gurukul, wherever he might have been, he is contemplating. And like anything else, meaning whatever we comprehend in our life, we use our five senses. That is, our eyes could see something, and they say, oh yeah, that's a nice tree. So you know something about the tree. Maybe animal, then you hear something, some scripture, and then so now I know, Bhrigu Sanhita. So the boy, young boy, Bhrigu, contemplated enough and start thinking as to what is it. And all this thing, my eyes, ear, nose, throat, and I could also do something with my instrument. So then Bhrigu thought and came back and said, now I think now I know what is that Brahman. And he went and he told his father, I thank you for guiding me. I know this is my body, which Vedantic people call it Brahman. Father did not say anything, and he says, go and meditate a little more. That reminds me that a young man went to a guru and asked him, I said, Guruji, would you accept me? And I want to know about the reality. I won't get into the entire story, but then the guru simply asked, say, okay, you see those 10 cows? Take them out into the jungle, and I will guide you when this 10 cow becomes 20. So a person like us, we may think that, why? He's coming here to know the Vedantic knowledge. And Guru is treating him like a shepherd boy. Go out and take them in the green field to graze. But understanding this, you on your own try to study the whole life. Also study the generation as to how animals grow, what do they do, what is the difference between animal and us, how do animals feel emotions, any thoughts and whatnot. So all those contemplation you do on your own. Exactly the same way Bhrigu, Father Varuna, is asking Bhrigu, go and meditate more. Go and meditate more. So then he goes, coming back to our first story, he goes and meditates. I don't know the time, but time is immaterial because one can have a life long or a couple of lives long. So how sincerely we contemplate, with what devotion we contemplate. So then this boy Bhrigu goes further and start thinking that my eyes could see and I try to perceive, or my nose could feel it, ears could this and that. But then they are something like a electric bulb that needs to have some power. So those power, and as we all know, we call it a prana. So he contemplated enough and tried studying different play with prana on its own with full dedication to his father. And understand, even though his father is not with him, but they have such a heavy respect for the Guru that even though he's not asking his Guru, his father Varuna, but every moment they are requesting, he is requesting, he says, dear father, oh my Guru, please guide me. Please guide me as to what it is. And still thereafter, he goes into tapa, austerity. So he goes and studies further on its own, and he came to know that it is prana, which must be meaning Brahman. So he comes and tells his says, Father, with your grace and enough meditation, I came to know that it is prana. That must be Brahman, because prana is subtler than the body, because it is the power that supplies it. Then it goes further. Father says, son, go and meditate more. Subhrugu goes and meditates more. When he goes and meditates more, he kept on thinking. And at that the time, he started studying his mind. And he said that when I'm too anxious or when I'm too excited, or when I'm too pleased with myself and so serene in myself, the quality and the flow and the amount of prana varies. So the prana is dependent on the state of our mind. And maybe that's why how seriously yoga is different from that of exercises. Because in exercise, if you happen to go to a fitness center, and I'm not downgrading, mind you, I'm just showing you the comparison. Because in the fitness center, there will be TV going on, somebody may be having a headset, listening to the music, blah, blah, blah. And if nothing else, somebody may be counting how many calories you burn. So your mind is engaged into it, but you're not studying the mind. And since you are not studying the mind, how would you even come to know that it will have influence on prana? And then how would one ever know what will be the effect of prana on the body? So, going to this matter, he taught and he studied the mind. Mind meaning all the emotions and thoughts, mainly emotions. So then he came to know, yes, that must be Brahman. So he comes and see his father and tells his father that I know what is Brahman. Give me a second. Sorry. Anyway, so coming to the point that one must not expect right away that I will do half-hour meditation and I will be realized. Unless and until one really dives deep into yourself and start examining all the different layers. So what we are learning, we've been learning, and slow introduction of, first and foremost, slow down, not hyperactivity. Because unless and until you slow down, one will never study oneself. We will always be looking for that such and such guru will bless me, or such and such vidya, the knowledge will help me. Yes, they are there as a tool, but then ultimately one has to keep on studying like what Bhrigu has been studying from his father. So anyhow, so he came to know about mind. And then after he came to his father and says, Father, now I know our mind must be Brahman. So Father again repeat the same line. Go and meditate more. And understand he is not going to tell you what to do. You find out on your own. Because our curiosity, jignasha, has to be so strong that nothing but these need to be thought of. So to say, this, because of this jignasha, he goes back to his little hut in jungle and start thinking that my father, my guru, tells me that it is not my mind. First he thought that it be his body. Then subtler thinking came into his picture. And that is about the prana. Then father still says it's not that. So he went next level, mind. And father still thinks it's not the mind. Go meditate more. Understand the beauty of this kind of story, that Guru is guiding the person to evolve by himself or herself. Because it is not somebody who can spoon feed you. Here is this pill, you take it and your headache will go away. No. This is the whole about the spirituality. So then he goes and he starts thinking and thinking and thinking. And even if we all think, try to think, contemplate in few seconds though, that what he could think. We know that our mind is the whole thing. But then over the course of time, he started thinking that why do I like certain thing and why don't I like certain things? What makes my mind to be angry? And what makes my mind to be happy? And he's not going to ask his father, as a father, show me what. If father shows you, then your progress is done. Because ultimately, it is your own evolution. So then he started thinking, it's, oh, you know what? It must be my intellect, my judgment power. So from one point of view, all of us can say, you know, the mind and intelligence are not too different. Location may be the same, but functionally it is different. So then he thought that as is our judgment power, so goes the mind. Understand this critical difference that I'm bringing up. All of us, we say, oh, ego is bad. Oh, the anger is bad. But then in this case, this Bhrigu Rishi, thereafter, he was big realized guru. But at the time when he was a child, he is asking his father. And that time he started thinking. And when I say thinking, we think in 5 minutes and we finish the whole chapter in 1 hour. Okay. But this is his whole life. So for the whole life, he started thinking as to what is it. Then he comes to know his intelligence, his judgment power. And judgment power has to do with a lot of his experiences. Meaning, if, you know, Tom happened to be a carpenter, he will be thinking about his carpentry. He cannot be thinking about the medicine. So all of his past experiences, how his judgment skill is built, and depending upon the judgment skill, his mentality, different thoughts will be coming to his mind. So to say, after having Manomaya Kosha, mind, mental faculty, and he is comparing this mind to his to Brahman, the ultimate reality. And understand there is absolutely nothing wrong, and progressively he's going from subtler to subtler to subtler level. So then he comes and he says, okay, it must be my intelligence. Intelligence, they think a different kind of thoughts and the guidance accordingly. And that, now, to explain you a little more, understand a doctor having trained or developed his intelligence will never be thinking of carpentry or cutting soil or gardening unless he is separately interested. And so will be the other person. So to say, it is the intelligence that must be Brahman. He goes to his father again, bows down, touches his feet, and says, Father, with your grace, now I know what is Brahman. It is the intelligence. And the In Sanskrit, knowledge is gnana, and special knowledge, which is vijnana, that is intelligence. So he goes and says, it must be vijnana, or vijnanamaya kosha, must be the Brahman. The Father says, go and meditate more. He goes again and start meditating. When he meditates and he starts thinking, the intelligence can be developed in a particular direction depending upon what does he know which will give him happiness. If certain thing, like person like me, I cannot think of going to scuba diving or the skiing. That's not my cup of tea. Because that I know it will not bring me the joy. So whatever that brings ananda, joy, bliss, that direction, that will be guiding him. So he thought of it and he says, now I know. Ananda is even subtler than Vijnana. So Ananda must be the Brahman. Understand, we have taken all this thing for granted while he is digesting word by word to understand, not looking into Google or any dictionary as to what do you mean by Brahman? Okay. All right. And so as soon as Google says it's reality, now I know it's reality. No. So self-realization is the whole process of learning from this story. I'm not done yet. Learning from this story is to meditate, 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 and meditate. And even at the time of meditation, let us not think that meditation is just silently sit. We'll talk about it in a few more minutes. So, Bhrigu goes to Varuna and says, yes, dear my Guru, my father, I came to realize that it is Ananda. And Varuna Rishi says, son, go and do more tapa, austerity. So that time he is thinking, oh my God, now what that could be? What is Brahman? So that time he goes and he is so serenely, so seriously. He has nothing to, he even sometimes, if I may say, I may not be exaggerating, he even does not, he sometimes forget to breathe, eat, drink, nothing, just that focus. So a lot of times we have heard that such and such guru has been meditating for 10 years and 15 years. So our scientific mind may think that, come on now, don't pull my leg. For 10 years meditation, I can't even think of 10 minutes. And so for 10 years, no sleep, no drink, no eat. How could one do that? This is our little mind thinks. So that is matter of devotion, sincerity, surrender, and following Guru's advice 100%. So then when he goes and in his deeper state of meditation, Bhrigu Rishi finds out that what is that awareness? Who wants to enjoy Ananda, the bliss? What is that? That awareness, which is to be aware of Ananda, enjoy it. It is that awareness which is to be aware of Vijnana, or the intelligence. And you keep on coming all the level from intelligence to mana, mind, to prana, the energy body, and eventually the external body. These are the instrument, and one has to learn how to empower this. And what is that empowering, which is ever present? And which is ever present, and it is kind of difficult to understand. You may be sitting in your chair, but do you think that your awareness is just limited to your chair? No. So the word awareness is something like space. Everything can be in space. Everything is awareness. And now, further taking into this 5 categories, and all of us must have heard what is called a Panch Kosha. Kosha, Sanskrit word, has a couple of meanings. Kosha means treasure. Kosha also means division. Kosha also means sheath or covering. So to say, allow me to explain. The physical body is the external mote body. And that body, if you go inside, not inside, so subtler than this body is prana. It is like having bulb, but then the electric current, which you don't see. So electric current is subtler. Likewise, our body is gross body, or the physical shape. Gross don't mean gross, okay? And so prana is subtler than that. But then, is the electric current subtler or nothing more? No, there's the flow of electrons, and if that doesn't happen, the electric current won't flow. So that is, you can compare to Manomaya Kosha, or the mind will die. So is that just the flow of electrons is the only thing? The flow of electron is possible. I'm not taking you all the way to physics, but pardon me, something to understand. There's a word called potential difference, or the voltage difference. That may be the mind. I mean, Vijnana, that is the intelligence. For the Gnana, I do not know. You can say the further minute level of particles, and so that may be the Ananda. I'm just explaining the subtler level. What is subtler? What is sukshma? Sukshma, tiny bitty. tiny, small, uh, like you need a microscope to see it, because regular thing our eyes could see up to an ant or even smaller than that. But to see the bacteria, you need to have microscope. And then to see even subtler than that, you need to have electron microscope. And to still see further, then different nanography and whatnot. Okay. And just to let you know that nanography is 10 to the power minus 9. Scientists have gone all the way up to 10 to the power minus 24 or minus 27. So you can imagine what instrumentation they must be using. So one is subtler than the subtler, than subtler, than subtler. So subtler than prana is mind. Subtler than mind is intelligence. Subtler than that is ananda. Awareness, Brahman, is even subtler than that. So just for the comparatively logical mind's understanding, that will also in our mind lay out the scope as to what we consider yoga to be, and what those great rishi meant. Now, understanding different grouping comes into picture. That is, the outer body, the sthula sarira, which is nothing but bones, blood, and muscles. That is grosser body. But that body alone cannot work without the sukshma or the subtle body. That subtle body is what? Prana and the mind, mana, and also the intelligence. All those three are considered to be sukshma or the subtler body. You don't have to remember those Sanskrit words, but when you will be on your own and you study this, you will come to know. And the last one, which is the ananda, the bliss, that really causes this thing to happen. So it is called causal body. So sthula sarira, sukshma sarira, and karana sarira. Grosser body, subtler body, and causal body. Don't worry about even this, but just understand and start thinking in this direction. So we must know the sequence with which we have to proceed. That is on the meditation. That is simply keeping the silence and spending 5 minutes. That is better than nothing. But to proceed in the direction of spirituality, it is so much desirable that we understand what this is. So meditation and realizing one is to go beyond the 5 koshas. Even to the degree, the last one, that the bliss, the ananda that you're talking about. What is it? If we keep on reading the books, it will calm you down relatively, but then at the grosser level, you take care of it with asanas, pranayam you take care of with prana. Then mind, manomaya, that you take care of with pratyahar, introvertness. We never think of our mind, and how often we have been told, don't think with mind, but think of mind. What does that statement mean? Think of it. Because everything what we either perceive or study, we study with mind. But we never study how the monkey mind behaves. That sentence will help you understand what I mean by thinking of mind. How does the mind think? Why it thinks the way it thinks? Why it makes us unhappy? Why certain things make us happy? So that detail need to be thought of, thinking of mind. And once you start thinking of mind, it's so important, without which, let me tell you, dear friend, I do not mean to discourage you, but otherwise, meditation is at a superficial level. That is, just we observe the silence and we take social pride in saying that, oh, Mahin, you don't know, I meditate every day for half hour. Good for you. And with that, you do not want to share this with everybody. And still I want you to share. Otherwise, everybody will think that, oh, you know, she is so egocentric. She knows that she's the only one who knows meditation. But the thing is, she loves somebody, and as a result, she's sharing that I wasted so long, and I'm still wasting, and I wish you don't waste your time. That doesn't mean you do not carry on the practice you do, but think a little more. Put in very sincere effort in understanding as to what is meditation. And in this connection, dear friends, you will now laugh. Nowadays, meditation can be even bought. You spend $1,000, learn meditation. And what is that meditation? We do candlelight meditation. We do flower meditation. We do Guru's feet meditation. All of this, they bring you to a little qualifying state, but thereafter, to study your mind, emphasize the word your. How could your mind be studied by somebody else? And the whole scenario has to do with the mind. And that too, up to the third level of the 5 levels that I mentioned. Grosser body, prana body, and mental body. In that, if we keep on going more and more, then only it will bring us the details. And what I meant by the word detail, go to subtler and subtler level. This is outlining the scope for our meditation. Very important that we understand. And dear friend, this is not me who is telling you. This is some of the highly accomplished siddha, yogi, meditator, and the spiritual master is talking about. And that is called Vidya. Vidya in general, you can translate like knowledge. So there are people that they have gone to, some rishis have gone through each of those 108 Upanishads, and they extracted some of the guidelines as to how to meditate or what is meditation. And those of you who are interested, this particular one that I told you is from Taittiriya Upanishad. All right, don't worry about it, but this is just a guideline as to we come to know what it is. And at the most initial level, if we want to understand, the top boss is CEO. Under CEO is the president. So the president is Anandamaya Kosha, or the bliss state. Then under him may be executive vice president, and that may be Vijnanamaya Kosha. Under him will be regular vice president, which is Manomaya Kosha. Under him, the manager, which is Pranamaya Kosha. And under the manager, peon like Sanaji. Okay, so this structure, how it runs down and how to follow, and any offices or the environment you must have worked in, how often do you get direct even chance to talk to the CEO? Okay, anyhow, this is still at the material level. But all the CEO, president, executive, vice president, blah, 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 they're all right here in our head. And that's what at Sati we have been learning, which is study of mind. And your mind, don't study somebody else's mind. I don't want you to be the psychologist or mesmerizer or so. Okay. And that's also the main reason all of my dear friends try to stay away from mesmerism. Because as such, our mind is weak, but then you are giving your mental control to somebody else. That will be even worse. Okay. Don't think anybody can help you. And in this light, anybody can help you. I will never forget my father, because ever since my childhood, he used to tell me that, son, nobody can help you. At that time, I being a very child, 5, 6 years old, I thought that I must be weak, or I must be ugly. I must not be socially acceptable. That's why my father says, nobody can help you. But now, I'm slowly beginning to learn what he meant by nobody can help you. Anyway, dear friends, this what I heard this morning, and I thought I will share with you. I fully agree with it. And if you have questions or you want to discuss certain thing, I am open. So kindly turn on your mic, put out your comment, and Any question? Okay, go ahead, Mukesh, since you flickered the light.
No, just I thank you for this explanation. Just wanted to share because I was unclear on the second sukshma body. So thanks for explaining that.
Anybody else? Go ahead, ask. Don't I feel bad because you may be asking my question too.
Swamiji, when you were teaching about Manukya Upanishad, you were talking about those 3 stages in like one awake, one sleeping, and one where you are awake and you still are not aware of your body. In that, you mentioned that silence is where you experience bodiless and bliss, right? Without realizing your body, you just are blissful and you're aware of it, right? So when you do meditation, you just have to keep your mind, you have to be silent. That means you don't have to have any thoughts.
Is that a question?
Yeah, because I try that, because when I'm trying, because since you mentioned that, I try to keep myself very calm without any thoughts, because I'm trying to, for a few minutes at least, not remember my body. And so is that the way you do meditation? Is that the way to go forward with meditation?
Bindu, I cannot love you enough, my dear. This is such a beautiful question. And most of us have been brainwashed with the thought saying that meditation is a thoughtless state. Okay, I'm not saying it. We have learned it. So many people will say. But now, give you one simple example. You're driving on the freeway and there is traffic. Okay? You are so internally aware that you do not even see on the left or right, in the front or back, are there any cars or not? How slow the traffic is going. Because your attention is not on the car to give you a reactive mode. So just let the thought come and go, but do not let that thought influence you. That, oh, 10 minutes over, I have to go and give Jagannath a breakfast. And after the breakfast is done, I have to go and clean the pot and then go to the office. So one thought led to the other, to other, to other, to other. And you still think you are meditating because you're not talking anything. Your eyes are closed. You're not smelling any fragrance or burning. So you are restricting the gateways to a couple of sensory or the perceptive organs. Like your eyes are closed, that's good. If your eyes would have been open, then you will still be getting so many other new thoughts rushing to you. So what you're really doing it, you are doing your best to close the gate as much as possible, and then you observe the mind. And Bindu tells Bindu, says, my dear, even though you are driving on the freeway, but you do not necessarily have to look at the traffic and have reaction on the traffic. That doesn't mean you run into accident. You will notice that how subconsciously at the other reflective level, the driving goes on. Okay? So to say, it is not a thoughtless state. Thought will keep on coming. But then understand, if you do not entertain the thought, then thought will come to know that she is such a girl, she doesn't welcome me, so I don't give a damn. I'm not going to go to her. Let me repeat what I said. It's so important. Because, for example, you come and visit Swamiji. Okay? You ring the bell, somebody opened the door, and you have seen me being busy. I'm not talking to you. So you think that after half an hour, he will finish his work and talk to me. I still don't talk to you. So then she thinks that, oh, he is busy, let me go. You come back the next day, I do the same. Third day, I do the same. For a week or 10 days, I do the same. Would you continue coming to me?
No.
No. Got it?
Yeah.
Exactly the way you do not, that is what is called study of the mind. Behave, see the behavioral pattern. Excellent question, Bindu. I'm so proud of you. Okay, anybody else? See, this inspires you. Bindu did not think that if I will ask this kind of question, what would other people think? Forget about.
I have a question, Sanaji.
Yes.
And I don't know if it's a question. Yeah, it is actually. To know everything that you just explained to us, for me, I don't know if I can get to where I want to go better with the knowledge that I just received from your talk, because I'm thinking in my head so many different things, and I'm trying to, my logical mind is trying to make sense of it in the path that I like to follow. And it is not sitting where I want it to be. As for if I didn't know the info that we received tonight, to me was what you just explained to Bindu, that you just observe your mind, and that simple explanation of meditation and silence will, what I'm saying, the more you explain, the more complicated it gets anyway to me, because maybe my level of understanding is not as good as others, but the more simple I can grasp and can practice, and I can get what I want to get from it. So what I'm saying is, do I have to try to open up everything you just said and find out why, or should I just follow that and whatever I know?
Whatever you know, it will not be different from this. Whatever you know and whatever you practice must be fitting into somewhere. That means you may be coming up to the pranic level. That is the second circular level. Okay? All what I explain you is like doctorate and doctorate and doctorate degree. Whereby do not be discouraged. Begin some point in time. Okay? So at least, let me tell you, as simple as this, when we are sitting down, first 5 plus 5, you know, 5 breath in, 5 breath out. So you're calming your physical body down. Unless you calm the physical body down, there is no sense in you proceeding further, because if you do not understand this gross body, and if the gross body is in pain, how the heck are you going to know what prana does? Right now, even we know the word prana, that's it. We have not even experienced what is happening. And we will be in the process of curing our body physically and mentally feeling little better because your headache comes down and your mind is not running at 180 miles per hour. That is not bad at all. Understand, this is a progressive stage. But whereby what I meant to say when I say that is not meditation, but that is not dhyana, it is dharana, the initial concentrating state. Okay?
This is what the bottom line is understanding or becoming. Understanding or becoming, which one helps me more? To me, is becoming.
That's so true. But even then, one has to go even further than becoming. What does the becoming happen? That means you are not calm, you come down. You're not beautiful, you become beautiful. Meditation is not that. Meditation is the acceptance of whatever you are. Okay? So that's why in Yog Nidra, if you recall toward the end, we hear almost every time, nothing to do, nothing to become.
So you're saying becoming is a physical aspect of our life.
Absolutely. Physical, mental, all some activities. That's it.
So what do you call when you sit in meditation and you are not here and you're just like a breath coming in and out. There is nothing else except that. Do you become that breath, or is what happens?
Okay. It's not a matter of becoming the breath, but it's a matter of observing, witnessing the breath, and not putting your mind to it, not assigning any value that it is too fast or too slow. I don't like it. It has to be calmer than this. No, just observe. Witness is the key word.
No, I'm not observing and and judging. I'm just, what I'm saying, when you are in the meditation, when you get to where I'm not saying 100%, but a lot of times where you want to be, as far as what I know about meditation is, there is nothing there. There's no mind, there's no observation, it's nothingness. So
Well and good, the silence. Okay? But that must not be aimed at, because you have already previously defined what that silence is. In other words, you have already set up a goal. And who could tell you what silence is? If one comes to know what silence is, that means what? Even...
No, you can't.
Yeah, okay.
Silence, and it's like God, you can't. Thank you. Hariom.
Anybody else? Sunil, Mukesh, Jatin, Mira, Alicia, Alcina, and Chris. If not, allow me to have concluding prayer. Namaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti